Good evening. This is a Zimmermania special report, kind of an intimate portrait. I came up with this idea for a video about 10 minutes ago and decided to simply sit down and create it. Today I was messing with some technologies. As you know, I'm an IT specialist, and I like to experiment with hacks and enhancements to technology. And I created this image here of an antenna enhancement that I did. I have an antenna, simple house antenna that catches airwave signals for television stations behind a painting in my living room, just a simple $11 antenna. But I created the CD enhancement that I learned of from a hack on the internet. And it worked. It brought in so many stations that I had 29 available broadcast stations in San Diego that without the enhancement I only had 6. So I have television stations from Mexico, from LA, from all over, just from this one signal boosting enhancement that virtually cost as much as 4 CDs and some tape. Interestingly enough, I hadn't watched network TV for a very long time, even though I had the antenna. You know, I'd hooked it up so that I could watch perhaps the Oscars or a new movie or something that is on broadcast television. But I never really used it after I bought the antenna. I only use Netflix, Pandora, and YouTube. That is part of the Roku box that I bought for my TV to make it a smart TV. So I'd sworn off network news in 2009, turning off cable TV, saving $80 a month or something on my cable bill, and deciding that it was completely unnecessary to have television at all. Up until that point, I was a $180 a month cable bill consumer of television with a recorder box, like a TiVo, that is delivered to you by your local cable company, but in very good equipment. So I would record all these programs and watch them, and then I got the cancer scare, and I was like, I have to do the Gerson therapy, and I'm going to need entertainment, and I'm going to have to keep my cable. But during the Gerson therapy I was working a lot less and making less money, and I thought I need to cut my costs here. I didn't have to, but I was trying to be careful, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go through my TV stations here, and I'm going to see what's on TV right now. So I'm sitting there one evening, and I'm going through all these hundreds of TV stations, and what I am seeing was violence, violence and more violence, people on people violence, human on human violence, guns, just violence in TV news, murder, rape, etc. in the news. So I'm going through these stations, spending less than 2 seconds on each station, seeing nothing but horror and fear-mongering, and I decided then I was done with TV. Mind you, I was born in 1955, just before the advent of color television. And I think we purchased our first color TV in 1968 or 66, I can't remember. But we bought big ass, expensive, $1,500 consoles. My mother received some inheritance, and she put it towards 2 giant color TVs, the best babysitters in the world. So she got rid of the kids for another few years. And we were glad to have them. So to come home from school and sit in front of a color television was like going to heaven. I think one of them even had a remote control. Yeah, it was an RCA Vista, 1,500-pound giant thing. If I can find a photo, I'll insert it here. But I couldn't believe how wonderful television was. And I grew up with I Love Lucy, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched were some of my favorite shows. I watched the obligatory Dallas and the other, family shows, Falcon Crest. What was the other one? Dynasty. It was really big. And all of this. But I realized how much time I'd wasted in my life with television. And that it was a complete waste of time. And I remember someone telling me that TV was not real, and that the television show was the commercial, and that the commercial was the TV show. So, of course, they're saying the intent for all TV programming was to promote the commercials that paid, of course, for their time in their show. So, it was all just a giant advertising scheme. And yet, it occupied so much of my time that was better used for normal human intellectual pursuits. So this experiment called television, by the time I'd figured out what it was all about, and I pretty much knew for years. It's like I knew my diet wasn't perfect, and I knew that I wasn't eating well, and I knew that I was drinking fluoridated water, and there was fluoride in my toothpaste, and that I was polluting the air with my V8 engine car, and that I didn't care. Not until later in life. I didn't really care. Then I got a cancer threat, and I started to research holistic medicine. I was always a zero population growth person. I was always a don't pollute person, and I always tried not to pollute. But I figured catalytic converters were good enough. Not. But we tend, as human beings, to accept the word of the authority figures, which are corporations and the government. And those guys, as you all know, lie through their teeth all the time. Wherever there's money, there's lying going on at a rate of speed that is incalculable. So what I'm saying is that I put this antenna enhancement on my TV antenna today and got all these channels. When I started watching the local news, I organized my remote for ABC, CBS, NBC, and KUSI so that I would have all the local, all the national networks in one place. And I started looking at them for the first time in 8 years. And I'm watching, and today was the Manchester bombing tragedy, which is sad. But I get my news on my phone from Google in the morning. It's all condensed. I even have another program where the news is listed in one-liners. Global and national news are separated, and I even can select what type of news I want or don't want. And I have Flipboard, which I love because I can exclude or include anything I want. So yeah, I include national and international news so I can be aware of it. So I flipped through Flipboard this morning. Manchester bombing, Muslim, terrible tragedy. Okay, next. The new Tesla article I wanted to read. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I'm not sitting in front of the TV this morning. I learned everything I needed to know about the world news. And I know where Trump is this week. You know, all this stupid stuff that you don't need to know anyway. But use of time. You know, I was sitting there and I'm flipping between the four major networks in San Diego. And I'm seeing weather, there's some fires out in East County. Everybody knew those were coming. You know, and I saw them this morning on local news in my flip. And by the way, I spend no more than 2 minutes in the morning reading the news. So I know everything that's going on in 2 minutes. I don't want to linger in front of the TV and then have to consume television advertising, which is bizarre. I mean, between the auto dealerships and the new and the drugs that they advertise, just it's so offensive to me. I can't stand it. So now I have access to all of this television, and I may just cut the cable to the antenna, which provides me with free high-definition TV through the airwaves. So it's gotten to the point where I cut cable. Now I'm ready to cut over-the-air TV because it's just that bad. It's unhealthy. I remember I was so anxious when I saw the crowds gathering in Manchester and all the sad stories. It's like an exercise in how to get clinically depressed without really trying. And I blame television for the massive spread of clinical depression. I think that it's part of a conspiracy, perhaps not a deliberate conspiracy, but a conspiracy to get people on antidepressant drugs. When you have to go to a job where 98% of Americans hate their bosses, so that you're going to a job all day and you come home to this news, how can you not be depressed watching all that shit? Unless you're just unless you have a naturally resistant brain chemistry, you know, or you have a way of editing out all this crap, or you have a great job and you can deal with a little sad news in the evening, or you're smart enough simply not to watch it. I believe that it is important and imperative that people with any predisposition to mental illness of any kind not watch any television whatsoever. That if you want to stay up to date, use something like Flipboard on your iPad or on your phone and observe the news of the world and your local. Focus by selecting what you want and stick to that. If you're a politician, if you're a heavy-duty business person and you need more, increase your dose of it online the way that you can absorb it the quickest and the most efficiently, so that you're informed, you don't have to worry about anything, and you're done. So this is Bill Zimmerman for Zimmermania Health. I wanted to get this out. Just don't watch TV. It's not worth it. Always look at your habits and examine them like you do your own mind, because your habits do become your mind, and your mind does become habits. And you are in control of your life only to the degree to which you create it. There are entities out there, like television, that will take over your life. The internet, making videos, whatever. So Also, I need to report I'm at the 6-month level of doing the Wim Hof breathing technique. I am extraordinarily pleased with the results I'm getting. I would say that my daily experience of depression is down 80% since I started this technique. That my physical health has improved, I'd say 30%. Organs that weren't working as well as they should are now working way better. I won't go into it any more than that. But they're suddenly working better and without the supplements I used to take to help them. So, guys and gals, you know, look at your life. There's many ways to improve your daily life and keep yourself happy. So this is Bill Z for Zimmermania. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time.